take your Anki and throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash right now, okay?
Know your fucking place, trash.
Actually, maybe go get it. Maybe go get it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anki. I still love you. I'm sorry. But I don't use Anki anymore. And I'm here to spread the news that you don't need Anki to learn Japanese. And not a lot of people talk about this, I swear. If you're new to learning Japanese, or if you've been learning Japanese for a while, no doubt about it, you've heard of Anki. Judging by some of the comments I got on my last video, some people, they talk about how they don't like Anki. I'm right with you. I actually stopped using Anki, and if you watched my whole video, I did talk about that a little bit. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. Anki is one of those things, you either love it or you just absolutely despise it. If you know, you know. If you've done Anki for a long time, you're gonna know that the reviews are gonna get kind of crazy, especially if you want to learn way too many cards a day. I really wouldn't recommend, if you're going to use Anki, to never go past 20 cards a day, because if you do, you will regret it, because one day you're not going to feel very motivated and you're going to have like hundreds of cards that you need to review. I stopped using Anki because the reviews just got absolutely insane. But before we get started in today's video, I want to say thank you guys so much for 1,300 subscribers. I am so happy to start this new channel. Like, I'm so excited. Like, even though I have another channel with almost 4 million subscribers, seeing like every subscriber that I get on this channel is like so much more exciting for some reason. I think it's because like I'm just kind of passionate about this, and I've just been looking for an excuse to just get this information out of my brain. Like I talked to my wife about it and she doesn't care, but that's okay, right? Like I would just bug people. Like, I try to get my friends to learn Japanese, so like this is great for me. I need an outlet to talk about this kind of stuff. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for the support so far. I thought my video was gonna get like hundreds of views, and it already has like over 10,000 views or something like that. So starting from the ground up, that's pretty good. That's pretty freaking good, I say so. Plus all the positive comments. I got so many comments of people that were like good at Japanese and people that were just learning or wanted to start. So I just want to say, guys, thank you. It really does mean a lot. In the future, I want to make videos in Japanese. Like, I want to make content in Japanese. That way you guys can immerse and stop watching videos in English. What? Okay, only watch my videos, but nobody else's videos. And then go watch some anime or listen to some Japanese or something, okay? But only watch my videos. Thank you. I appreciate that. If you did miss my first video where I talked about my journey of learning Japanese, you should check it out. Okay, let's get on topic now. Today, I want to talk about my method of actually how I learned Japanese, and I've been doing this since 2023, so a few years obviously now, and I talked about it in my last video too, so that's why you should probably watch it. So if you don't use any flashcards or textbooks, then how the heck are you learning Japanese? The way I'm learning Japanese is just by simply reading a bunch. Reading a lot. So yeah, again, don't get me wrong, I don't know if I said this already, but I still love Anki. I talked about it in my last video, and I recommend it for people that just to get that baseline of those most common words. I think that's probably one of the best things about Anki, is because you're gonna get that repetition really, really fast. Because, if you're a beginner, you're gonna know almost nothing. Like, if you only know hiragana and katakana, you want to get the most basic words that you possibly can. And I think Anki is one of the fastest ways to do it. But again, the reviews just got too crazy for me, and I felt like eventually all I was doing was Anki, and I wasn't actually immersing myself in the language. And so that's where reading comes in. And I think around 2023 or so, around that time, I came across this video right here. And this video is called I've Never Used Anki, How I Learned Kanji and Vocab Plus Resources. This guy, I don't know if I'll say his name right, but it's Bunsuke. So Bunsuke actually reads physical books, and I think they've been studying for like a long time now, for like over 10 years, I believe. I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure I've seen them talk about it. But I'll link this video down below. It's a really, really great video, but I thought it was so interesting that someone hasn't used Anki to learn Japanese, yet they're really good at it. And basically he talks about his method is reading books and just writing down words that he doesn't know. Now, I don't know his whole life story, so, obviously he could have had some other training or something, before, but I think mostly it's actually just reading. And I just found it so fascinating. And I was like I've heard about people that do massive reading, but just not a lot of people. So this video, as you can see, it did really well for him. He only has 7,000 subscribers. And so this is something that's not talked about enough. And so if you remember last video, I mentioned this website called Link. And so, TLDR, this is how I actually learned Japanese, using this website called Link. And it was co-created by the polyglot Steve Kaufman. The entire time he's been a proponent of just massive, just reading and listening. Just listening and reading as much as you possibly can has been his way of doing it. And I'm telling you, this guy is crazy at languages, and he's like the real deal. Like, you know, I know there's like a lot of fake polyglots. If you don't know what a polyglot is a person that basically just knows a bunch of languages. I don't know like the technicalities of it, like how many languages do you have to know to be a polyglot, but he's the real deal, I'm telling you. And so he's the co-creator of this website called Link. So I mentioned in the last video that I've dabbled with Link my whole entire journey. So I did download it like around 2019. But if you look at like how much progress I made using Link, I pretty much hardly used it. As you can see, it's like a flat line right here. But in 2023, bam, look at this. Look at this. I went all in on 2023. I think it was actually the time I watched this video, and I'm like, all right, let's give this Link thing a shot, because when I started learning Japanese, I came across Steve Coffin's channel, and his results are just super impressive. So he knows what he's talking about. So I was worn down by all the freaking reviews, the hundreds of reviews I was doing. I felt like I was always using Anki, and I felt like I just was not immersing myself. So I switched to just purely reading stuff. Hey, Future Mike here. So I kind of forgot to tell you how to basically use the website. I don't know how I forgot to do that. I do go into a lot of details, but I wanted to make it really clear how to use the website if I'm going to be talking about it. So on the website itself, this is the link method. You can pause it, and this tells you exactly how you are supposed to use Link. So the fundamental is you basically import what you like to watch. There is a lot of beginner stuff, and when you're a beginner, you want to find a lot of beginner stuff that would be easy for you. But at the end of the day, you want it to be interesting to you the most, because if you can't keep your focus, then you want to find things that will keep your focus. So, you know, if you find beginner stuff does help you keep focus because you want to improve, then that's good. But other people find that kind of stuff boring. That's the beauty of this website. You can import anything that you want on top of all the courses that they actually do have on here. So you just read, listen, repeat. You just always repeat the listening while you're doing things. You want to repeat old lessons as long as it's fun for you, or just move on to similar difficulty ones. And that's essentially it. But I wanted to go a little bit deeper and explain how the website works. So I have it actually on English right here, just so it's very easy to show you how it works. So obviously I'm fluent in English, but it's just kind of funny to use the website in a language you already know completely. Greetings. Oh, wow. What is that? I don't know that word. Oh, okay. Because I don't use it in English, I guess I need to get premium version. Yeah, the trial version is not fantastic at all, which I explain this at the end of the video. Okay, but what I forgot to clearly explain in the video later on is that the blue words are words that I supposedly don't know. I've already dabbled with English because I was just curious because I thought it was funny. Okay, pretend that this is English, right? Here's a word that I supposedly don't know, right?
Yakunin.
Yakunin. I actually did not know this word. So click it, and then all of a sudden it turns yellow. And so you see this number right here? This is like what I forgot to explain. You can actually use your keyboard to pick 1 through 4. So every word at first is going to be a status as 1. And let's just say I go through this lesson more, and I know that this word is sort of getting a little more familiar, because if you're doing lots of reading, you're going to see this word. And what's cool is that, everything that's yellow, you know for sure that you have seen this word, because it wouldn't be yellow had you not clicked it before. So you know for a fact you've seen it before. So it's in my memory somewhere, but I just don't quite understand it. So we're going to keep looking it up, right?
Yakunin.
So, yakunin, okay. And if you do that a bunch of times, eventually you're gonna go, okay, all right. I feel like it's like a 2. It's familiar, but I don't quite know it completely. So let's just keep reading, right? Okay. Oh, I come across yakunin again, and then a 3. So 3 is like, what do they officially call it? It's very familiar. And then you have status 4, which kind of just gives it a underline. So it means like you almost really know it. And then obviously if you just know it, then you're just gonna click no. Or you could ignore the word. If you just want to just trash it, you can do that too. I'm gonna put it on a 1 because actually I don't know that word. But okay, I wanted to show that because I never showed how to do that part of Link. There's also flashcards as well that I do not do. I do not care about these flashcards. It's just a feature of the site. So if you like flashcards, Link does have it, but it's not as good as Anki, to be honest, because you can't add images or anything, and sometimes it's a little weird. But, there is still flashcards. So I can be like, oh, yes or no. And I believe the more flashcards you do, it also does increase that status of how you know it. So if you keep getting flashcards right, I want to say that this also does it. But I don't use flashcards. I just grade as I read. So I wanted to give that explanation. So anyway, on with the video. okay? Just reading stuff that I found interesting. And now I got about 19,000 known words. Now, I don't actually know 19,000 known words. I know that's like weird. This would be super impressive had I actually known that. It's actually getting hot in here. Give me a second. Let me bust out the My Chemical Romance shirt, okay? He's taking the jacket off. It's serious now. So I don't actually know 19,000 known words. A lot of them are katakana words, or just different variations of the same words, or it could just be like words attached to different parts of grammar. But I don't really care, you know, it's not really about that. As long as this number is going up, then that's all I care about, all right? It just activates my monkey brain. The neurons are going off, they're firing off as long as this number is going up. Like, especially when you look back from like, you know, trying to start reading, it's crazy. It's like night and day, the progress that I've been able to make, you know? And this is for a person that doesn't have a lot of time to study Japanese. So there are YouTubers that talk about Link, and there's a lot of people that do swear by Link, but there's almost nobody talking about learning Japanese with Link. I honestly think I'm one of the very few videos of people that are actually talking about learning Japanese with Link. I don't know why there's like no YouTubers that talk about it hardly. If they're out there, I don't know about them, because like I probably would have watched them, because I'm always looking for, you know, useful tips and stuff like that. But I got about 4.4 million words of reading in total, 1,370 hours total. This is including listening, so they do separate listening, but this is, I think, the total time. And yeah, it's actually really cool because like I talked about this on my other channel. I did a sponsorship with Link like a few years back, and I remember when I did that, again, I'll clarify the sponsor thing, but when I actually did do that back then, I only knew, I think it was like maybe 3,000 or 6,000. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly when I did it. I think actually it probably was like, yeah, no. So this is when I started taking it more seriously. So I only knew 6,000 known words. I've definitely increased that like a ton, right? Every month I'm adding like 1,000 extra, like it's pretty crazy. So obviously I didn't start using Link. I had a base. I did have a base that did help me using Anki and other like flashcard apps. I forgot to mention like some of the apps that I would use. This one app called JPDB. I actually forgot that after Anki I used this, and basically all this is flashcards. But what's cool about this website, if you don't want to like set up Anki, this is also another great website because they have like decks out of textbooks, anime, visual novels, light novels. I still use this website, not for the flashcards, but for just all the freaking resources that it does have. It's an amazing website. It actually lists things by difficulty, but for a while after Anki, I did use this. But again, it's just flashcards, so it's like not that big of a deal that I didn't do it. As you can see, it's just like Anki. But even though I knew a couple thousand words, when I first started using Link, it was a struggle to, like, I felt like I didn't understand anything. Even though I had learned all these kanji and words and stuff, like it was just like reading is a different story, because when you're creating Anki cards, you're only getting one context of what the word is using. So while it is great to learn a word, like this word is soko, this is a great beginner anime, by the way. Takagi-san? I forgot the actual name of the anime. Okay, so it's Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san. This is an amazing beginner anime. If you want a good beginner, definitely watch this anime. And plus, it's freaking funny. I loved it. But the magic of reading things is that you come across the same words in different contexts, like a lot. And the more different contexts that you see it with the same word, that like will help you remember the meaning of the word. It'll just like cement it. I don't know what's the word for it. Like it'll etch it into your mind a lot better than have you just learned it with one single like Anki card over and over again. Because you're gonna find that even though you thought you knew a word, that word has like 50 different meanings, you know, depending on the context. So that's one thing that I found when it comes to reading. It just helps me. It just helps things stick a lot better for me. But here's the thing: if you're gonna do reading for, you know, learning Japanese as your like primary source, then you have to do enough reading. Because the thing about Anki is that it's an SRS system, right? You're gonna always be reminded of things before you forget about it. If you can tolerate the reviews, it's fantastic to do. But if you don't want to do it, then you could just read. But you have to read enough. I would say, like, if you do want to try out Link or something like that, definitely do not do less than an hour a day, like minimum, or else you're not going to get the same benefits that you're supposed to get when you use Link. The whole point is you're supposed to read stuff that interests you and basically import it. Like this website lets you import all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. But if you're not coming across the same words over and over again, then it's going to be potentially useless, because you're always going to be learning new words, or you just won't be doing enough learning in general. So if you are going to learn Japanese from reading, what you want to do is find a series, especially like a podcast, So this is a podcast that I highly recommend, especially if you're a guy. Hey, this is Future Mike. So I wanted to explain this part better because I explained it really bad in the video. But a really good tip is if like, you know, you want to speak like a certain person, it's a good idea to find a podcast, something with a lot of episodes where you can constantly listen to it. So like if you want to sound like a guy, right? So I'm a guy, right? I want to sound like a guy. So I'll listen to like a Japanese speaking guy, which I'm going to explain here in a little bit. I actually found a really cool podcast for me. But if you're a girl and you want to speak like a girl, you're going to want to go find a girl podcast. I still listen to like, you know, girls speaking. I follow a lot of like videos that girls record. I'm not saying you can't look at those things, but just know that there's certain differences, nuances that this is how girls speak and this is how guys speak. And if you're a guy and you want to speak feminine, then go look for a, a girl podcast and vice versa. It doesn't really matter. It's just all about what do you want to sound like in Japanese. It's a good idea to maybe find someone to shadow and listen to a lot of that because you might find yourself speaking like that. So that's all I was saying, but I just said it dumb. But I found this person called Nihongo Konteppei. Like that's literally how he says it. Nihongo Konteppei. And I know, I know that sounds like a little kid. It's like, what are you listening to, Sesame Street? He actually does talk about some like dirty things every now and then, and he's really funny. He has like a super beginner podcast, but this is more of like the intermediate podcast that he does. And so I've been binging these. I've probably listened to like 100 of them so far. But yeah, this was recommended by another YouTuber. But anyway, it's cool to listen to the same series, like the same person talking over and over because everyone has set words that they always use. And so that's the perfect way to basically recreate that SRS, right? So always just encountering the same words. And eventually, this guy has like a million podcasts, like a million episodes of podcasts. So like once I get really high up there, I'm going to pretty much know exactly how he speaks and it's going to be, you know, natural. So it's just so fun just to go through things that I enjoy. When I first started using Link, I remember I used Clan Ad. I remember, so here's the first episode of Clan Ad. So people can import like all sorts of things from like anime to episodes. And a lot of times it'll be like even audio from the show. And also Link has like lessons that they create as well. I'm telling you, I love this freaking website. I really do. I mean, there's things that I don't like about it that I'll probably get into. It's not perfect by any means. And also I'll talk about a free way to basically recreate this because Link is not free. And this is what I forgot to mention in the last video too. Link is not free. It does cost money, but I bought like a lifetime subscription to it because I used it so much and I just really enjoyed it. And the reason why I enjoy Link so much is because they record all of your stats. They record how many words you learn, how long you've listened. I mean, I've already kind of went over it, right? But this is one of the reasons why. And there's also challenges that people can participate in. And there's like leaderboards. And I've been trying to climb the leaderboards and that's been fun for me as well. And plus you got streaks and stuff like, you know, it does pretty much everything that other, you know, language learning apps do. But the reason why I like this app so much is because it focuses on stuff that you actually enjoy, right? But in the beginning, it's going to be super hard to do. Now, yeah, because I didn't do this from the beginning, it's hard to exactly tell you how to start Link from the beginning because, you know, when you're just let's just say you know basic words, right? Going into reading, especially if you don't know like a lot of the kanji, you know, it will be very daunting. It's going to be a very slow progress to learn things. But there's these things called mini stories, and this is what Steve Kaufman, the co-creator, basically when he's learning a new language in Link, what he does is look at all the mini stories. So they have these like 50 mini stories in like almost all the languages that they have on Link. They have a lot of languages too, and they're also voiced too. So like you can follow along.
マイクは毎朝6時に起きます。
Hey, my name's Mike too. Hey! Except I do not wake up at 6 o'clock every morning. I probably should start doing that. But anyway, when I was starting Link, I did go through a lot of these. I didn't go through all the mini stories because again, there's like 50 of them. Even if you don't understand anything, you're just supposed to go through them, link all the words. And so basically, I know a lot of it already, but blue words. So this one's technically one that I'm not supposed to know. So any blue words are going to be new words. So you have to click them and then it shows you the definition, right? But huge tip, okay? If you're actually using Link, I wouldn't rely too much on the definitions that they give. Instead, download Yomitan, which I did link in my first video. Download Yomitan and use that instead. It's way better. It's way faster. I highly trust me, just do that. Obviously, you're still going to click the words and you just click the definition that matches it the most. You can scroll down. Other people have definitions. They have related phrases and stuff. So it is a good dictionary, but I'll tell you also why I use Yomitan as well. Yuko Teki, I probably already made this into a word before, but again, this website will sometimes attach like grammar, like to stuff, and that will like say that it's a new thing. So that's why I said this 19,000 words is fluffed up, because some of them are words that I already knew, but just pieces of grammar attached to it because I just was lazy and I clicked known on it. So that's why it is fluff. But the goal is to get everything white. So all the white stuff is stuff that I already know and that I hit known on. So that means that I'm able to read that stuff. So Mike wa mai asa 6時に起きます。彼は朝食を作り、コーヒーを飲みます. This is all very proper. Like these mini stories, they're not casual whatsoever, you know? I don't claim to have a good accent or anything. I've already said that. If I was reading this, it says I don't know this word. I don't think I actually do know this word. Which I'm surprised. I thought I knew all the ones in the first lesson. So what Link does with these mini stories is that they try to introduce like new bits of grammar and stuff, and they try to stack it on top of each other. I don't know exactly how they do it, but basically if you're a beginner, you'll just go through a lot of these and just kind of keep rereading them, listen to them all the time. Like, you know, even when you're out and about, you'll listen to them and then you'll do that. You don't have to use these. You can use anything really. But this is just like what like Steve Kaufman always uses and what he recommends, and this is usually what people are always kind of linked to when they start using Link. But this is very basic stuff, I mean, for the most part. So what's this word? Kotonaru. I did not know this word. But another way to also create like repetition is basically like, you know, you can come back to the same lessons and just redo them. Like for me, it's fun because you get to see the things over and over again and be like, okay, do I remember more this time? So what you can do is just repeat the same things over and over again, and eventually that also helps with learning things. If you're having trouble in the beginning, you're gonna read this stuff so slow. This is what I said with the Anki cards as well. If you're new, it's gonna be so slow. Yeah, you can also like make phrases as well. So if you were to add a phrase as a known word, it would bring, you know, this into a higher number as well. So this is phrases, words, grammar, like it's a lot of stuff. It's not, you know, 19,000 words. That would be very impressive if it was though. But one thing that this app doesn't do very well is sometimes they get the, I don't know what you would call it, the parsing wrong. I don't know the actual word for it. Yomitan is pretty good for doing that, for like creating things. Like I'm trying to find a good one. Yeah, this is a really short story, by the way. Yeah, these are really short. That's another thing that's cool about them, is that it's not too overwhelming. It's like literally a page. What I did when I was starting too is I not only went through the mini stories, but I was super interested in clan ads. So I would watch, someone imported the whole clan ad series on here. So what I would do is watch the anime, and as I was watching the anime, I still do this. I watch anime and I go through the subtitles as I watch it. And another really cool tip to basically, especially if you're a beginner, watch animes with English subtitles. And I know it's bad to do that, but if you know nothing, so watch the anime with English subtitles once through, but then come back, turn the subtitles off, and then put either Japanese subtitles on, or just watch it in Japanese with no subtitles. If you can get subtitles, watch it. I have so many resources to get subtitles too, but so that's just like another tool to create comprehension. Like the goal is that you want to be able to comprehend things. So you don't want to do things that are too out of your scope of things, but at the beginning, almost everything's going to be out of your scope. So even though I hardly understood anything in Clan Ad, I'm able to look back and literally see that I understand like most of it. Like, yeah, there's some stuff that is linked, as you can see in yellow, but for the most part, like I can actually follow along these episodes and know like everything they're saying. And some of the things that they put on there as a link is just like kind of gibberish sometimes. And so yeah, okay, actually I finally have an example right here. Look at, so I link Kawari, right? Kawari just means to change. But if I actually use Yomitan, then it shows me that this is actually the word right here. And so I wouldn't have known this had I not used Yomitan, because Link is kind of bad at like, you know, putting things together that are supposed to be together. So it's not always going to be perfect. So that's why I highly recommend, if you're going to use this for Japanese, definitely get Yomitan, because you're going to be able to see things that you're supposed to. So now what I can do is make this into a link. And as you can see, it's already right here, but I wouldn't have known that had I not had a good online dictionary. So that's a perfect example of why if you're going to use Link, definitely use an online dictionary that's not just clicking them, even though it is very helpful and you can still use it. Like if you're going to use this on mobile, I'm not sure if there's an online dictionary that you can do on mobile, but maybe there's a Yomitan for mobile. I have no idea. I've never used it. I use it on desktop. Like this app isn't perfect. The mobile version has like some problems too when watching videos. But at the end of the day, even though this was out of my scope, I still found it interesting. So it's okay to go out of your, you know, comfort zone when it comes to Japanese, as long as you enjoy it. Obviously, if you're a beginner, what you want to do is like you want to filter things between, there's like a little filter, right? You want to try to do beginner stuff. And they have like videos of like beginner like stuff, like really baby stuff. Here's that Nihongo Kotepe. He has like a whole beginner podcast. This is a great one. You should definitely, especially if you're a guy, definitely do this. Oh wait, no, that's Z. Actually, no, this is the beginner one right here. He has a few podcasts. They do a pretty good job of giving you some really basic beginner stuff. And another way to filter things that is really helpful as well. So when you import things, you can see how it says 0 new words, right? Because I've already read all of these lessons, right? But when I am looking for something that's close to my level, I'm looking for something that's not any more than like 10% new unknown words. And so as you can see, this one for me is like 5% new words somehow. Like sometimes English will be in them and that'll make it like more unknown words, but they're not supposed to be in English. So I know like when I'm searching for a new lesson, when it has 3% new words, like this is gonna be super simple. I'm gonna be able to understand all of this almost, except for like maybe one word here or there. And so that's another cool thing that this website does, and that's why I use it. I forgot to mention as well because, yeah, so I mentioned I've done a sponsorship like a few years ago on my main channel just because I did like a language related thing, and I just figured like I would work with them since I have been using them for so long, since 2019. So I do have an affiliate link, but I've already proved to you, I actually believe in it, and also I've been using it since 2019. So you know that it's not like it's some mobile game, like, you know how YouTubers do, right? Oh, but download this mobile game that I played for 5 seconds and I don't actually like it. No, this is not that. So I have an affiliate link. It only helps me out if you decide to try Link and like upgrade and pay money to do it. I know how people get with that kind of stuff, so I'm actually gonna give you a way to do this without using Link, in case you didn't believe me. But if there's something that does interest you, you can click my affiliate link and it would help me out a little bit. Just basically, if you upgrade, I will get like a little tiny cut of that. That's all it is. And plus, I don't make any ads. I don't have any ads on my videos yet, so please watch my videos and give me watch time so I can get ads on my videos. So yeah, I just thought I would mention that. It's not sponsored. This is not sponsored in any way. It's just an affiliate link if you decide to use it. But I only talk about it because I use Link. But yeah, they have other beginner courses as well that you could definitely use. And again, it's gonna be really hard to jump into reading, but if you just stick with it and do it like as much as you possibly can, then you will learn. And you're probably wondering as well, like, how do you learn kanji? Because I talked about you don't need to learn kanji individually. This is how I use Link every single day. You do not need to overcomplicate this thing. So here's a lesson that I just imported. You probably have seen this channel. If you ever do want to use Link, a big tip is to use Firefox, because this app is not without flaws. And actually there's a lot of flaws. There's a lot of things that make me very annoyed with Link, but I still recommend it, even with the flaws. So you can download the extension for Link, and you can import like YouTube videos with subtitles, even automatic captions. So these captions aren't the best, but definitely you can still learn from them. And so when you import a YouTube video, this is Takashi from Japan. You've probably seen his video, it's very popular. This is the YouTube player. And it's like, what the hell? The YouTube video is right in front of the screen. How am I supposed to freaking link words? Like, I can't see the words. So the only other option is to minimize it, right? And it's very similar to this on mobile. Like, I don't know why they have not made their video players better, because it sucks. It absolutely sucks. So like, yes, you could watch this on this little tiny ass screen right here. That like really sucks. So what I would do is I would open up the video and I would just like, so I'd put the thing right here and then I would open up the YouTube video on the side and do it split screen. So this is a lot harder to do on mobile unless either you have an iPad or something that has a bigger screen. But the reason why I say to do it in Firefox is because Firefox runs things a lot better just generally. And so like I've had trouble in the past with Google Chrome. If I would import like an hour of like a video, you know, with a lot of subtitles, it would kind of be a little slow on Google Chrome, but I've never had that problem on Firefox. But what Firefox has is this really cool freaking feature. I'm using like a different version of Firefox, not the regular one for certain reasons, but it has this pop-out feature. So if I can get it, regular Firefox, I don't think has that issue. It's just this like developer version. Bam. It pops out the video and you can move it around and resize it as much as you want. When I found this out, I was like, thank you, God. This is what Link should do. They should have a feature just like this. Just like being able to resize it. It's amazing. And because this is still playing from Link, you can follow along.
You speak Japanese, right?
So as you can see, look at, there's a line that helps you like follow along as you do it.
In Japanese? Yeah.
もちろんです。まあ、もともと
レベルはどれぐらいでした？
So yeah, if you're gonna be importing subtitles, it's better if they had actual Japanese subtitles, like where the creator put it themselves, because you know it's gonna be accurate. But automatic captions are just getting better and better these days, and there's even like AI captions, and there's so many ways to get captions these days. It's the best time to learn language. And like, you know, I can look every single thing up and I know all my stats. This is what I do. So I just follow along things, right? I'm not trying to spoil this video or anything like that. But yeah, it's like if I don't understand something, what I'll do is I'll pause it, I'll look it up, you know, make a link out of it, and I move on. And eventually I just see the same words over and over again. And it freaking actually works. Like my comprehension is so much more higher now than it used to be because I'm actually interacting with Japanese and I'm not just sitting there in my little box doing flashcards. Because again, that was my issue. I don't have 8 hours a day to immerse in Japanese. So, you know, if you have 8 hours a day, you're gonna, even the most inefficient methods are gonna be effective because you were spending it in Japanese. But I was just doing like my flashcards and not watching a lot of anime on the side. So this for me kind of kills, you know, 2 birds with 1 stone. I get to learn while immersing myself. So I have the captions, I look it up, and it just works for me. I absolutely love it. And not a lot of people talk about this stuff. So I'd mentioned that I was gonna give you another way to do it, and I've not used it myself. I mean, you don't even need this website at all. Again, the only reason why I use this website is because it has all my stats. And you know, for me, watching numbers go up is a motivator. Just like my old Xbox gamer score. I kept getting achievements because I just want the numbers to go up. Better number means better person. So this is what this website does for me. But literally, there's nothing stopping you from just downloading Yomitan, which is free, and just simply doing the same exact thing, but without link. Sure, you won't be able to see your progress like with the numbers, and that's what's bad about it, unless you are smart enough to track those things by yourself, like using a Microsoft Excel sheet or something. People literally have done that. They'll track their hours listened. I don't know how they count the words, to be honest, but they do that stuff, and then you could just make Anki cards. And I honestly don't think it would be a bad idea to also use this and use Anki cards. I bet you that would be even more useful, but I just, again, I don't like the reviews. They piss me off. So that's not, I just don't do it. And another thing that's cool about this is you can look up grammar using these dictionaries. These dictionaries are amazing. Like it shows you the grammar, it shows you everything. So you could still study grammar as you do this. The more that you see things in different contexts, you're just gonna learn. And that is the method. So that's how I freaking learned Japanese. So anyway, an alternative website that will do a lot of this stuff, but again, it's centered around flashcards, I've heard is like Migaku. I haven't used this. I plan on probably making a video about Migaku later in the future. From what I have seen about it, Migaku is like, it's like kind of the same thing. So they'll scan like articles and the plugins and stuff will tell you like how many words you know in that article. And so it is very similar again, but I just can't really speak too much on it because I haven't used it. What I wish Link would do is actually find a way to like use the website on the freaking video. I don't like having to split screen it like this and, you know, have to follow and look back and forth. You know, it's not that bad. I've gotten used to it, but it's not like exactly ideal to do that. So one thing that Migaku does is that's basically how it works. So you can actually use the thing like on the video, I believe, and then you can click like the subtitles and make like Anki cards out of, you know, just clicking it. And then like they're like all colorful too. I just need to show you what it looks like. Oh yeah, here's actually what it looks like right here. Yeah, so it's just basically the same thing. So you can hover over the subtitles, right? It's mainly like using Netflix, YouTube, and then like articles. And you can hover over it, and then you can just make it. It says like known learning, so it's a lot like Link, but I don't think this tracks like the amount of words that you read. I don't think it tracks that kind of stats. It just kind of tells you how many words you know, and that's it. So Link has more stats, and that's why I like using Link. But if I was super crazy on flashcards, I probably would switch to Migaku and try it out from what I've seen. But again, this isn't free either. And again, you don't need any of this stuff at all. Like at the end of the day, you just don't need it. You can do what Bunsuke does and just literally read physical stuff and just write down words. I think that's really inefficient, obviously, to, you know, have to write down the words correctly and everything like that when, you know, especially with technology these days, we can literally just highlight things. So it's not the most ideal way, but hey, you know, at the end of the day, I don't care what you do, right? I don't want to be the person that's trying to be preachy and say that this is what you have to do to learn Japanese. I just tell you what I do to learn Japanese. And you just don't need Anki, right? There's so many different ways to do it. You can use textbooks. I don't care what you do. As long as you freaking enjoy it. I just hit my mic. I'm sorry. So sorry about that. Dude, my videos are just gonna be long. I can't help myself. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I do. I just basically go through stuff that I enjoy. I forgot to mention, lastly, one thing that really helps me was reading visual novels on Link. If you guys have been subscribed to me from my other channels and stuff, you know that we've played a lot of visual novels on the channel. Visual novels are something that I've personally been interested in, and I thought, hey, like, you know, it'd be cool to read visual novels in Japanese. And so visual novels are a fantastic way to read Japanese. And so I looked up like the most beginner ones, and I found this freaking visual novel, and it's it's funny. Give me a second. All right, here, I'll bring it up. I'm just loading it, okay? Talking and loading at the same time. This freaking visual novel right here, Hanabira. Sorry, Hanahira, not Bira. I thought there was a B there. So this is like the most recommended beginner visual novel to learn. And what's cool about visual novels is that you can use different programs like called text. There's this program called Textractor where you can extract all the text from visual novels, right? And this is how people like translate, you know, visual novels that don't come out in English. So what I do is that I'll basically extract all the text and I'll import it into Link and make it a lesson. And so I'll just follow along the visual novel and make it. This visual novel is freaking cheeks. It absolutely is cheeks. It is not a great story, but what I am interested is learning. I have powered through my way of freaking reading these awful visual novels that are just about like school. This is like a meme in the learning community, I think. Like, I'm not exactly interested in it, but what is cool about anything that's slice of life that's school related is that you're gonna learn a lot of really basic words. So again, slice of life, things like Clanad, like those kinds of animes, that one, the Karakai Jozu Takagi-san, I can't say it. Stuff like that are really good beginner animes to do, but anime in general is kind of hard to get into because it's just kind of hard at first. But again, I think a good thing to do is just watch it in English first and then switch to Japanese. Eventually, you just never want to watch it in English again, but if you just don't know anything, it's a good little thing. And so yeah, so as you can see, yeah, I would just like bam, click, read, and this is what I do. But this is a very, very easy visual novel. And I remember when I first started this, it was a pain in the ass. Like, I didn't understand anything. And as you can see, I understand a lot of it. Yes, there's some yellow stuff, but again, a lot of it is, not everything is like actual words. Like, I know this, me sameta. Yeah, it just means you're awake.
Kuishinbo.
Okay, actually, I guess I haven't seen that word in a long time. Kuishinbo just means you're a glutton. Like, so people were asking me about kanji, right? Like, I find that I learn kanji by just simply looking it up. Learn how to read it because I know the hiragana, right? So okiru, right? To get up. I obviously already know this word. This is a word you're gonna see a million times. But I have done some kanji study in the past, but I forgot most of it. But now the way that I learn kanji is just remembering the words, and I just click no. And it's like, if I can read the word and I understand it, like, that's good enough. That's just how I do it. I don't know. Like, that's why I say, like, learning kanji on their own is a waste of time. Also, you can toggle furigana as well, so you can actually see all the readings, like, on the page without having to look it up as well. I choose not to do that, to not rely on them too much. I'll just, like, look it up, learn how to read it, and then I'll move on. And if I see it again, I'm like, oh, wait, I've seen this word before. And I know that I've seen them because I've linked them. So another good thing about Link is that, yes, you can tell that I've seen this word in the past. And then so it kind of reminds you, oh, this is what this word is. And eventually, if you just keep doing that, you'll remember it. And even if it's kanji, right? Even if it's kanji, it's the same exact concept. You don't have to know what an individual kanji is to learn kanji. Like, I can't tell you what this is. I can tell you this is love. I happen to remember that. Because I found too, the more words that you learn, like, you know, if you just see the word kawaii in kanji, eventually you're going to remember that this is kawaii just by simply seeing it in different contexts. But sometimes I'll learn kanji that way. I'm like, okay, so if the word means this, then most likely the kanji associated with it also mean something very similar to that. So, like, you know, it's also another way to learn kanji just by simply seeing words. So you can skip the entire thing of just learning kanji on their own separately. If you do it, obviously it will help you, no doubt. But you just don't need to do it. All the new words that I've learned, I just see them here in context, and then eventually I'd be like, oh, I remember that word. I know what word. Like, I know that this says, mo hayaku heya ni modotte kikaete kinasai yo. I said that stupid, obviously. It was my accent stupid, but I know what it says. So go back to your room and change. Yeah, I knew this was gonna be a long video. I'm sorry. I know people want shorter videos. Maybe I'll start scripting stuff more, but I like to just talk from the heart and just talk because it's natural. I want to be relatable. I'm not really worried about giving you like this perfect formatted information. I just want to talk as a real person and how I learn things. If you're interested in Link and if something you want to try, it's not free. Actually, another problem with Link is that the free trial sucks. Honestly, it is not enough to get you to actually learn how to do it. Like, literally, you have to get the full experience with Link. Like, you can try the free trial. It only lets you like link a certain amount of words. I think it's so stupid. They really should give you at least like a 7-day free trial to link as many words as you can. But you kind of have to pay for a month to get the full thing. And I think that's really stupid. They should switch their model. And another thing with Link is that like they're adding a lot more AI features, which are good. They're good features, but they kind of break the website sometimes. And so something that might work now might not work in the future because they keep adding features and they're not fixing the old ones. Don't get me wrong, Link has a ton of problems and I'm always reporting bugs and stuff like that, but I wouldn't recommend it to you if I didn't use it myself and I didn't fully believe in it. Because at the end of the day, you don't even need Link, you don't need any of that stuff. You can just simply do the same thing by reading and looking up things as you go along. Yeah, you don't need Anki to learn Japanese. You just need to have the will to learn Japanese and just do what you like at the end of the day. This is what I like, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I am probably gonna put some more grammar study. There's another cool website that I use for grammar, but mostly I have not used hardly any grammar guides or anything. Just learned some basics, but I find the more that I read and more that I listen, that grammar will just become natural, you know, to be like, oh yeah, I know how that is, and I didn't even realize I knew it until I knew it. Like, it's crazy. Check it out if you want. That's my ramble about how to use Link and use it for Japanese. It's cool. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. I'm gonna make more videos just talking about like reviewing games that are supposed to teach you Japanese, apps. I'm gonna do a mix of content on here, but this is my little tutorial. If you want me to make more videos on this, let me know. All right, bye guys.